greatest video game ever made. Vigilante 8, Second Offense.
I've been playing this game for over 13 years, and every minute of it has been a combination of exhilaration and joy. Well, most minutes anyway. Developed by Luxo Flux and published by Activision, this game hit the PS1 and N64 in 1999. I got this game along with 6 other random games when some guy I assume was trying to hook up with my single mother when I was 7. But in a haul that large, there was one gem I heralded beyond all others, and that was Vigilante 8, Second Offense. But that's a story for another day. Today belongs to the predecessor, Vigilante 8. Boom. For a game as godlike as V8 Second Offense, there had to be humble beginnings. That's where we get Vigilante 8. It was released June 1st, 1998 in North America, and a year later would be released on N64. This was Luxo Flux Studios' very first game, and in the late PS1 era of gaming, where exactly were expectations? It's hard to judge. Really, the only direct competition to Vigilante 8 was 1995's Twisted Metal. Looking back, Twisted Metal 1 wasn't exactly a perfect game. It was without a doubt a great foundation, and when Twisted Metal 2 was released, you can see the evolution. Considering that, Luxo Flux really just needed to build an operational game to start. Did they do that? Well, we're about to find out. Wait. Shit. This game wasn't released 10 years ago, it was released 20 years ago. Is this still an acceptable review?
What are you talking about? Of course it's an acceptable anniversary. If anything, it's a better anniversary.
Tails, who said you were allowed to be in this video?
Don't give me that. You know full well why I'm in this video.
Because I wish I was JonTron?
That's right. Now shut up and review the game.
Fair enough. This is the 20th anniversary review of Vigilante 8. I got this game in I think the 2nd grade. I still remember going to the post office and opening up the box to find it sitting there. Box number 9. It was a thing of beauty. I'm not sure what happened to the original version of this game, but this is all that I have left of it. It's just the manual at this point. I had to actually go out and buy a new disc in order to play the game for the channel and make a review for it. So you better fucking appreciate what I do for you. I'm gonna be honest and say that I haven't played the original V8 nearly as much as the second. So if I'm missing out on some key lore, that's my excuse. The game opens with the Activision logo and the Luxo Flux logo. I have to say, I really appreciate how the Luxo Flux logo has different text underneath it every time you open the game. Damn, we haven't even gotten on to the main menu when I'm jerking off the game. Let's get to the plot. So the opening movie consists of 4 of the main bad guys who are referred to as coyotes, and they're driving through a set from the good, the bad, and the ugly. They eventually reach a warehouse of some sort and shoot their way through. Inside, they find a bunch of crates with US Army written all over them. God, I mean, they sure did shoot a lot of shit coming in, but I'll be damned if the United States Army of all armies is gonna leave a place full of weapons completely unguarded like this. I know this game's supposed to take place in 1975 and all, but that's pretty lax security for something that important. In the game's backstory, it says that this is because all of the world's law enforcement is dealing with the big cities, but this is America. They're gonna defend their guns until the very goddamn end, okay? Anyway, the good guys who are known as the Vigilantes show up to save the day. Yay. Or not. As a super sexy disco lady with a rocket launcher shoots at the semi, blowing it up and murdering whoever was inside. Jesus. Well, there you go. That's the intro. Welcome to Vigilante 8. Okay then. Well, that's one way to make an entrance. So you've got the option of single player, multiplayer, or the options screen. The options screen brings you to a hub of sorts where all the characters are listed, the sound can be adjusted, and the credits can be displayed. One thing I really didn't understand is why the difficulty is measured in fuel octane. I get what they were going for now as an adult, but I have been used to games saying easy or hard, not unleaded and premium high octane. In fact, when I was little, I had to consult the game's actual manual to understand these difficulty settings. When you have to verbally explain what your difficulty levels stand for, maybe that's a bad thing. There's all sorts of stuff in this manual that I didn't even know about. In fact, there's apparently a soft reset in this game where you hold down select and then hold down start for 2 seconds. It'll bring you back to the menu. Huh. So it does. I'm not sure what the point of this is because you can always just, pause the game and select quit. I mean, if the game's gonna freeze while you're playing it, pressing start and select together ain't gonna save you. I used to think the flames on the 8 in Vigilante 8's logo actually was the letter E. Yeah, I know, 7-year-old me didn't have much common sense. Well then, let's actually get to the game itself. Under single player, you can select either quest or arcade. Arcade is pretty self-explanatory. You select your character, select some enemies, and go into town. Quests are a little bit different. Here, you select your character, but then you go to a specific set of 4 predetermined stages to complete with little objectives within each of them. Completing all 4 stages will reward you with a cutscene at the very end, where you'll discover what ultimately happens to the vigilantes and the coyotes. Spoiler alert! Basically, all the good guys have a good ending, and all the bad guys have a bad ending. I guess if you're gonna shoehorn a moral message into your game about blowing the shit out of everything, you may as well be consistent. You don't have to complete the objective to get the ending movies, but you do have to get the objectives if you want to unlock more characters. There's a total of 5 unlockable characters in this game, along with 2 bonus stages that can also be unlocked. But you absolutely must complete every level objective as well as survive in order to do that. We'll discuss why this is an issue later. Let's talk about the gameplay itself. Everyone's got their own car with their own unique style. How your car drives depends on which character you pick. The smaller cars tend to be faster and easier to drive. Bigger cars tend to be stronger, but also steer like a cow on wheels. The basic goal of the game is to eliminate all enemies by any means possible and collect your rewards. Don't believe me? Well, that's what it says right there in the manual, under the game. In the upper left corner of the screen is a radar, which basically exists to tell you how close to your enemies you are. It doesn't account for terrain or height differences. In the middle of the screen are your weapon slots. Your car can only hold 3 different weapons at a time, but can hold up to 99 ammo for each weapon, meaning it can be smart to trade out weapons whenever your stocks are running low. The upper right is your health, and the lower left is your enemy's health. When there's multiple enemies currently in the area, you can choose which one you want to target by pressing circle multiple times. It's a bit finicky, but you should be able to eventually select the one you actually want to hit. This is important because there are 2 types of weapons you can select. Weapons that turn your targeting reticle green are homing weapons that you can shoot from a distance and be moderately confident they will hit. Weapons that turn the reticle white are not homing, so you'll actually have to line up the shot and hope for the best. Even on the higher difficulties, your opponents will drive pretty slowly once you're around them, so it's not too difficult to hit them, but you absolutely have to watch out for certain enemies that can wipe out half your health bar before you can blink. This can range anywhere from a larger vehicle that can drain your health just by running into them, or some enemies that will have just plain stupid special weapons. Special weapons are, well, special weapons that can only be used by the character they belong to. Whenever you're in the game and you come across the green crate from the opening of the game, that's where you'll find the special weapon. Everyone except for Molo has a homing special weapon in this game. Some of these are ridiculously overpowered. Beeswax and Dave come to mind. These 2 can summon multiple indestructible enemies that will chase you around the battle arena for a good 15 seconds, eating away at pretty much your entire health bar. Everyone's special weapon in this game is considerably strong and should be used whenever possible. The problem is obviously the 3 weapons at a time limit. This limit means that whenever you drive into another weapon, the one you have currently selected will fall off. This is why you should only have your special weapon selected if you plan on using it. If you drop your special weapon after driving into a different weapon, you can't re-equip it after it drops. Every other weapon can, thankfully, in case you end up selecting something practically worthless, like the mines. Hey, speaking of mines, let's talk about the weapons themselves. I've already mentioned some weapons have targeting and others don't. All weapons also have special combo moves that can be executed. Doing these can unleash ridiculous destruction upon your rivals. They're also really fun to watch. My favorite is the Crater Maker you can execute with the Chimney Mortars. This attack is not only incredibly powerful, but it also creates actual craters in the game terrain. Now that's a cool detail. Another good one is with those useless mines I mentioned. Picking up the mines can be a real downer, especially if you find one of the brown crates, which can contain any of the standard weapons or your special weapon. Ending up with the mines can just be depressing. Well, the way to remedy this is by using the cactus patch combo. Hey, don't look at me like that, I'm just reading out of the manual. What this does is essentially use up all of those useless mines right away. And if you're quick enough, you can lose those mines before the part you just dropped for them has even hit the ground. This is better than just driving back into your original weapon, because if by sheer coincidence one of your enemies stumbles into this combo mine, it will actually cause a considerable amount of damage. Good show, V8. There is one thing I want to mention about combo text that is not good, however. Inside the game's manual, you're able to find only one of the 2 combos you're allowed to do with each weapon. Now that's just annoying. What, so we're supposed to randomly mash buttons to figure out what the other combo is? It's not exactly the most helpful thing in the world. Luckily, I've been playing the game for over a decade, so I know most of the useful ones already, but some of these combos just don't make sense. The bear hug is activated automatically when a vehicle is detected in its vicinity, pulling it in and trapping it. Like, what's the point of that? At that point, just use the other mine combo, which, you know, actually does damage. There's something that I didn't write down in the original script for this review, because I wrote it before actually going back and playing through the entire thing for the channel. And I just want to say that the cars are balanced really, really well. Picking a certain character really doesn't feel like a death sentence. You can drive as Loki in one of the weakest cars in the game, but your special weapon is powerful enough to put you on the same level as Molo practically. And even when you're playing as Molo, the most powerful car in the game, and going up against Sheila in the weakest car in the game, Sheila can still tear you apart. This kind of leveling is extremely, extremely well done, and very hard to execute, especially for a first-time game developer. That's what's so impressive about this. This was Luxoflux's first game, and they were able to level these guys so similarly. It's just a great job by a young studio, and another reason why the Vigilante 8 series is so strong. So we've discussed the cars and the weapons, now let's talk about the battle arenas themselves. There are all sorts of interactive things in these maps. Pretty much every building on every map can be destroyed with enough firepower. If the ability to blow up your environment in a game way back in 1998 isn't enough to impress you, destroying buildings can also spawn weapons out of the rubble. Remember how I told you reaching every level was a bit of an issue? Well, this is where that issue lies. When you play through the game on the Vigilante side, each quest stage will require you to protect some sort of building or series of buildings. Having a destructible environment and upwards of 4 enemies blind firing at all times is a recipe for disaster. You don't even need to be around your rivals for them to accidentally set the world on fire. Sometimes what you were trying to protect will just randomly end up destroyed by the time you've actually completed the stage without you even noticing it at the time. In fact, I'm pretty sure at the hardest difficulty, your enemies will actually target the buildings you're trying to protect instead of targeting you! Now that's just annoying. When you're not allowed to set your homing weapons to shoot buildings, which would be really nice whenever you're playing as the Coyotes, where you actually, are supposed to destroy certain buildings to complete stage's side objective, that would just be great. Oh, okay, that was a lot of words, and we still haven't actually touched on some unique touches on every stage. All arenas will have something unique to them, whether it's environmentally triggered proximity attacks to some sort of special transporter. Here's what I mean. In the farm level, you can unleash a literal tsunami throughout the entire stage. Another one is at Hoover Dam, where driving over this bridge triggers a lightning bolt that travels the length of the water basin in front of the dam. As for transport, there's some strange things in every stage for that as well. In the desert stage, you can be teleported to one of 3 locations just by driving into this crop circle or whatever it's supposed to be. My favorite by far has to be the Casino City Zone, where you can fly an actual blimp.
No, I'm serious. Look!
You can fly a blimp in this game. What more do you want, honestly?
What I want is a good game.
Shut up, Tails.
The arenas in this game are incredibly well thought out and all feel unique in some way. In fact, some of these environments have been traumatizingly unique. In the airport stage, there's this construction crane that has a giant chopping guillotine of death that will murder you and only you if you get too close. This thing still scares the shit out of me to this day. Not only does it have one of the smoothest frame rates in the whole game, but it can also devour your health bar just like that. not to mention its harrowing sound effects. That thing is just nasty. God, I hate it! Wow, all these words, and I feel like I've only just started discussing the game. I haven't even mentioned the little power-ups you can find in every stage, such as the shield, the targeting scrambler, or the damage multiplier pickups. All of these can help you get an edge in the battle. I haven't even discussed the characters themselves, who are quite the cast, I might add. Each of them has a distinct and consistent style to them and can easily be identified as 1970s archetypes. I love them all. I love this game. It's so great. Everything about it is amazing. Well, okay, maybe not everything. The physics engine feels a little off. I know this is an arcade vehicular combat game, so I'm not expecting F1 2018 levels of realism in the driving model. The problem with this game's physics engine is how the cars tend to just want to take off to outer space. Raining down a lot of firepower can cause your enemies and even yourself to fly off the handle at any given moment. From there, you're in God's hands as to where you'll end up and what year it'll be when you get there. The worst culprit is John Torque, whose special weapon causes the environment itself to bend and morph. This is the last thing the game needed to have happen to the environment. Getting hit by the special weapon can send you off to another planet if you're really unlucky. It can be actually vomiting-inducing, I'm not gonna lie. There is one thing about this, and all VA games can fall back on, and that's the amazing soundtrack. Wow, and I mean wow, this soundtrack is great. Some of the tracks sound pretty similar, but they've all got an electric edge to them that just feels right and proper for a game like this. I adore Vigilante 8. This game is fantastic. The only real problems that I have with it is that the physics tend to forget how gravity works, the Vigilantes somehow will have their thing they're trying to protect destroyed without you even noticing, and the quests feel a bit too short. The game sometimes ends up over before you even know it. It really is a short game, but it can easily be lengthened if your opponents decide to be dicks and target the buildings you're trying to protect, instead of targeting you. I give Vigilante 8 out of 10 for gameplay, 7 out of 10 for graphics, 8 out of 10 for sound, and 9 out of 10 for replayability. For Luxoflux Studios' first ever game, this is stunning. I haven't seen this strong of a debut since Boston. Especially when compared to Twisted Metal 1 and 2, Vigilante 8 is without a doubt the way to go. I love this game, but if we're being honest, I still love V8's second offense more.
Oh man, wow. If you love these games so much, why don't you marry them?
You know that's impractical. These games can't consent to intercourse, let alone marriage.
That hasn't stopped you from jerking them off this entire video.
Hey, screw you, man. Vigilante 8 is a great game. Why do I let you live here again?
Whatever, kid. You keep pleasuring yourself over there to a 20-year-old game, and I'll play a more modern one.
Give me my phone back.
No, go away!
Tails, what the hell is this?
It's the most recent game in the V8 series. How do you not know that, you fake fan?
Shut up. I know about V8 Arcade. You see, the problem is that I've never owned an Xbox console. I mean, we as a family own the Xbox One, but I recently looked on there to see if V8 Arcade is on the Xbox Live store, but it ain't! So I've never had the chance to play Vigilante 8 Arcade. I don't know if it's good, I don't know if it's bad. In fact, I probably never will, because I'm a cheap bastard. From what I've watched and have been told, I don't think it's that good, but that question will have to be answered another day. For now, I'm perfectly content playing this game instead.
More like perfectly content to be a poor fag.
Tails, you're really fucking pushing it! Anyway, thank you for watching my 20th anniversary review of Vigilante 8. Be sure to tune in next year when we get to the main course. You thought this video was long? You ain't seen shit yet. See you next time. This has been...
All of these can help you get an edge in the battle. What the fuck was that? Doing this can release... What the fuck is this sentence? Doing these can... Every minute of it... Wow. And every minute of it... Behold! That was terrible. Today belongs to the predecessor, Vigilante 8. What the fuck? Really, the only direct comparison to Vigilante 8 was 1995, so I'm terrible at this. Who fucking watches these videos? I'm not quite sure what happened to the game's case, but that's all that's... Oh, wait, that's real. Shit. They eventually reach a warehouse of some... Wow. They eventually reach a warehouse of some... I can't fucking talk today. I have been used to games saying easy or hard, not unlimited. What? And that's where we get Vigilante. And that's where we get Vigilante 8. And that's where we get And that's where we get Vigilante 8. Vigilante 8. Okay, Hey, hello! Okay, I got a question if this is ever uploaded. Does anyone ever just randomly get a massive twinge in their neck that just goes... and then it hurts like fucking hell for an instant, and then for a while it kind of like... It's like a Charlie horse, you know, but on your neck. Like it twinges just for a split second, and then it's over, but then for a while it just hurts. Does this make any sense at all? Help me out there, comment section. I don't even know if you're listening to this. Now none of the controls on the controller work. Amazing. Incredible. That's amazing. Shocking. You could even call it incredible.